Hello everybody, Anton is here, and in this video we're talking about how to approach creation of really smooth surfaces and pretty cool surfaces where you don't have any bumps or blemishes, and it's really pretty much ready to be baked. I just say as a starter that smooth surfacing is really not easy, and but sometimes surfaces that can be easy to approach, sometimes it can be really hard. So the traditional approach would be is to do some type of a mesh like this. For example, I have some type of a lump, and then you would drop it into retopper mode, like in ZBrush you would do the same, and then it would start doing your retopology. And funny enough, I cannot do it. Why is it second time? Yeah, so okay, I'll just do it like this. So we pretty much do a retopper to achieve a really clean look for a complicated surface that you've kind of roughed out in 3D code. By the way, guys, I have a question. I'll try to Google it, but I don't know how to drop it, how to use this retopper mesh, how to drop it back in sculpt mode, like straight away. You can export it and then re-import it, but it's really time consuming. If you know how to drop the retopper mesh straight into sculpt mode, I'll really appreciate the answer. But anyway, back to our mesh. Okay, so the one way is to do retopology. I think it's pretty time consuming, and because I just finished a freelance job where I was doing a vehicle and I needed to approach to do some really curved surfacing. Right. So another thing is, well, you can do, for example, I want to do some type of clean model of this. I can drop it down to really low, and then I just smooth it out, and then I can actually use the smooth brush, right? That will give me a really clean result. I'm obviously like losing some details of the original model, but it's okay. I mean, I'm doing this video, so I won't be too picky about it. But then I have this super clean lump that I just up in resolution again, maybe to 500,000, and then I can do the cuts, and I will be using the Spline Tool a lot for the pretty much for all the cuts for like smooth surfacing. I'll be always using the Spline Tool, right? So when you use this Spline Tool, you get this really hard edge, and yeah, you will need to use the smooth brush, but you cannot really use it as it is, because then you'll create a really uneven smooth edge. What you want to do, you want to use the spline stroke and just run it across here, and then hit escape to exit the drawing mode, and then you can move these guys around, and if you right click you can modify, make them okay, modify the kind of the point. So if I press enter, it will smooth it out in the whole way around. Press enter again, it will smooth it again, and it will be pretty even, a pretty even surface. Well, I mean, it will be really even. You can see that it's slightly not an even mesh right here, but that's because of the original shape of the lamp. I didn't make it straight enough. I should have cut through on the low subdivision level and then smooth it out a couple times like that, and then I will have gotten a really straight edge that I could smooth later. right. Anyway, so so this guy, all right, we've just went down and up, and then we have our pretty solid looking smooth piece that we can just cut, but I'll go back to cutting later. But another way of doing it is, and that's the way I use it, I did on my freelance job where I had a bit more complicated shape, is that I have this guy, right, and what I do is I want to just use the cutout tool and cut out everything that I don't need, and I use the Vox extrude to select everything. Okay, and I'll put offset to like 30, should be good enough. Hit apply, wait for a few seconds. And by the way, I'm using the newest version of 3D Code. It's 3. Okay, that's 4.8, 4.8. It's much faster than the previous versions. I really recommend it. Like, I was dealing with the freelance job, I had 40 million polygons on the vehicle, and it was running pretty alright. It was pretty good, pretty solid. Like before that, I would have had to suffer on 40 millions. Okay, so I've just created some extra lumps around my model, giving myself extra space to cut through. It's that extrude automatically puts you into surface mode, so you want to go back to voxels. And now I want to apply a different material to this guy. I want to apply a volume material, one of those, and this is essentially gives you an ability to have it as a ghost mode, right? So if I just make it, if I just press the ghost button there, you cannot really interact with this model. You cannot really cut through anything. It just can't do it. But when you have volume with some transparency, you can do that. Okay, so I have this lump around, and then I'll go into my Spline Tool and just start doing cutoffs. I'll probably use the oxide. And do an approximate shape. I'm trying to put a point. Okay. I'll just cut through, so then go, that's one shape. Then I go up front and cut here. And then from the top, and let's cut here. Alright, so I did an accidental invert, which you don't want to do. Actually, let's just click on invert tool. No, it will unhide it. Alright, so I've got a little funny bug here, like I can put a point, I can put an extra point on the curvature that's visible, but I cannot put an extra point on curvature that is not visible. So because what I want to do is I want to push this stuff around and cut it like this, but I need to have more points and just do it like that. So it's something to be aware of, and let's make it that, and I have it still inverted, and let's cut it out. And for the bottom part I'll just do something really simple to save time. I will go and just do this. Yep, good enough. And what I often would do, I would do a copy. I would duplicate and create another copy of the existing tool, so essentially as a backup. Stuff that happens when you do that, everything has been hidden, it gets deleted, so you no longer can unhide anything, right? Nothing can be get unhidden. But it do still have some funny stuff that if you go and up the resolution, it didn't create a problem this time, but sometimes if you go and just up the resolution, it can unhide stuff, which is strange. It should be hidden, but yeah. Okay, so we got our shape, basic shape, and I'll just press F12 to smooth it a couple times. And really you have to use the smooth tool. To smooth it a few more times. Press and enter. Might be a bit too much. It's starting to go. And I'm using this like a car paint, material that will show you any artifact that you have. Like it will show you any problem at all. And so I'm pretty happy about that one. And let's yep. Alright, press a few times than necessary, and it's getting a bit slow. Yeah. So you kind of get in this body, a pretty interesting car body. Sometimes it will kind of change your design, your original design, and you'll be like, okay, well, this stuff is coming out all right. Maybe I'll stick to it. Really depends on how you're approaching the whole design process. I hopefully have enough freedom. Okay, I'll just cut it. I think I don't really have enough resolution here. It's only 200,000 polygons, triangles. Let's up it to something like 900,000. Well, it's kind of getting there, right? So we have a perfect shape here. It doesn't have any issues. Now you can really start cutting, splitting the segments, which I usually do. And actually, let me do a duplicate. That's do cut. So it's got a peculiar 3D code. It's got a bit of a funny bug. When you got symmetry on and you're cutting through, splitting through, you can get. I think I'll show what happens. Ah, it didn't happen this time. I'll make it happen. All right. And it didn't happen this time. Okay, I'll change the split border to 0.001. Hit. Oh, now it happened. Okay, it happens when you change this split border width. So I'm talking about this particular line that goes through here. To fix it, what I want to do is you want to essentially do a symmetry copy, and symmetry copy will copy the last edited part of the model. So you want to just slightly click on the right part with any tool and go and hit symmetry copy, and it didn't do anything. I didn't have it activated. So yeah, and you can see another artifact at the top which you can't really fix in post-process. It happened because this guy was too high. So what I want to do is I want to put it down a little bit, maybe down like that. Still, I know, I'll just put it somewhere here. Alright, that's alright. And symmetry copy. So you can see a bit of a jagged edge going right now. So the best way to fix it is really to press F12 a couple times and get it smoothed out. I wouldn't recommend to do it just now, because you really want to do it in the very end, and that's because, well, if you'll be introducing other elements, you'll be introducing other cards like maybe some nuts and bolts. Let's do some circular stuff. And you really want to do the final smoothing only in the very end, otherwise you get too much smoothing. You have like smoothing there done 4 times, while smoothing around here will be done only 2 times. Alright. The cool thing about it is you still can go back and do a couple cuts. Oh, I want to do a cut. And there'll be a combination of soft curvatures and some really strong cuts, really sharp cuts, which I want to soften a little bit, so I'll press F12 a couple times. You do get that bending, but I wouldn't. In my case, I'm alright with that. I just think how if you could edit. Yeah, I mean, you can use a smooth brush, I guess. This guy maybe with the. You start to lose the really sharp edge right there when you do that. So it's not everything is without its issues. So one of the things I'm always using on the split stuff, I always use one of the shapes. I try to avoid using stencils. Problem with stencils, it's not really that precise. It did an alright job right now, but sometimes it doesn't, especially if you have a smaller card, like small circles, that they become all of different shapes, and like here I'm trying to see if they're even the same or not. So if I'm just doing some bolts around, I would be using the split, circles tool, and I might turn on the grid just so I can maybe I'll turn off the snapping on the grid, but I'll be like, okay, I'll put a 24 pixel bolt right here, and then I'll move like 1 2 3 4 5, put another one, I'll move 1 2 3 4 5, I'll put another one. I'll just count the squares. It's another way of making it relatively precise, not just eye match. Then you can rotate this guy a little bit to match the lines a bit better. So yeah, that's kind of the way I was doing, and adding details to a vehicle. And it's not really nice circle, it's more of a strange shape, so you'd want to navigate your camera right to put that bolt right in place. Bolt cap, really. Alright, it's about everything I could say about my approach to creation of smooth surfacing. It's really not super precise. You can't really go and edit this stuff. It's like one-off thing. If you want to have a real total control, you need to go into CAD software's Fusion 360. But in Fusion 360, I find that it doesn't give you enough speed to design and iterate. I can make so many shapes like this in 3D code really quickly, while in Fusion it will take me some time. But in Fusion you'll be able to, you'll have the control over the bevel, you'll have control over booleans and such. I might do some videos in future, but meanwhile I think you can still achieve some pretty awesome results in 3D code with default smoothing tools. Okay, thank you guys for watching. I hope you found something useful here, and see you next time.